Hey guys, so good evening again. We are back for another edition of our Stocks by Request session. But for today, we're gonna talk about APVI and its massive upward move for the day. What caused it, what triggered it, and why is it talked about? And why was this flying under the radar? Why was it not talked about similar to what happened to Mary Mart? Why was it not analyzed as much? And that's what we're going to drill in on this video. Now, for today's podcast, the way I segmented it and the way I did the topic was since everyone doesn't, majority of the people watching this, and I guess a lot of investors were not really tracking it and don't know anything about APVI. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna talk about the 14 things that you need to know about Altus Property Ventures Incorporated. So, if you thought Dito was longer, that was around 25. This one is just 14. But we're gonna split this also into a series so that it doesn't drag on. No, if you remember the videos that we had for Dito, one was around an hour, the other was around 40 plus minutes. So I'm gonna try to split this into a series, depending also if you want to learn more about it. So at the end, I'll probably ask if you guys want to continue this topic. If not, we're gonna proceed to another topic altogether. So before I continue, my name is Marvin Germo, and I've been in the market for more than a decade now, and I create videos like this on a daily basis to give you as much information as possible to help you trade the markets with confidence, to give you either fundamentals or technicals or basic principles about the markets or a combination of all of these three, because I really believe that if you have the right information, that's what will help you to be able to decipher on what's hype, on what's not hype, on what it really is, because this channel is not here to give you tips. This channel is to give you information so that based on the information you get to decide properly, and from that information it somehow will help you, because we'll never tell you how to, we're never going to give you fish here. We're never going to give you the stock here. We're just going to teach you how you can do it on your own so that you can replicate it. That being said, if you're new to this, please subscribe and smash the bell so you get updated every time we come up with new content about investing and about the stock market. We have over 1,500 videos already in the channel, all for you. And for those who are asking about Dito, we already have two videos about it. For those asking about MP2 versus mutual fund, we have a video about it. Those asking about Mary Mart, Jollibee, we have videos about it just the past few days. And for those who are asking about what happened to the Wirecard controversy, it's all here, it's all in the channel, and a lot more. And I hope that this gives you enough insight for you to be able to trade the markets with confidence. Now, are you guys ready? Are you guys excited? Let's do this. Comment, I'm excited. Sabi ko doon sa dito, andito na kami, but I don't know what word to put for this. But if you're excited, just comment, I'm ready and I'm excited. Now, why, number one, out of 14, why is APVI so popular today? Why is it talked about as much? It's primarily because if you look at this intraday, the highest point that the stock hit was 240 pesos intraday. And if you look at it, the offering price was around 10.10. The highest today was 240. But please do note that at 240, there were only 100 shares traded, 239, 100, 230, 600, 229, 100. So it's not a lot of volume. So when you're thinking that, oh, a lot of people made a lot of money, not really, because it was just 100 shares. So people always get misled also that when there's a high price, they're thinking that a lot of people made money there. You have to look at also how many shares got traded there, because if there's not a lot of shares traded, then it's just a few people. And kawawa, the person who actually bought it at 240, because right after that, the stock didn't really go above the 240 mark. So that being said, it was so popular because 10.10, 240, total gain in that particular duration intraday was 2,276%. And it became so popular because, how could that happen? Diba there's a ceiling? I'm gonna talk more about that later. The ceiling that it should not go higher, especially when we're talking, especially just to add context, no, Mary Mart, everyone was talking about it kasi from 1 peso to 1.5 ceiling, 50%. From 1.5 to 2.25 ceiling, 50% of 1.5 to 2.25, then then 2.25 it moved up close to 50%, but not 50%. So people, because at that time people were asking, why did it stop at 50%? Because guys, that's the ceiling. That's something that was set by the PSE to protect investors, that when a stock surges on a particular day, especially for IPOs, that it won't go up more than that. So for this one though, and I'll explain more about it, why it went above 50%, and what was the reason behind it. But it was talked about a lot because of the large surge. Now let's continue. Are you guys learning? Comment below if you're learning. Number 2 out of 14. What is Altus Property Ventures? As you can see now at the start of the video already, I already placed the logo of Robinsons because it's a wholly owned subsidiary of Robinsons Land Corporation. For those watching this and you don't know what Robinsons Land Corporation basically is, they're malls, they're business centers, they're hotels, they are condominiums. They basically focus on property development. But as they do property development, they follow the same model as what Mega World does and Ayala does, where it's live where you work, meaning offices, particularly BPOs. Think about Pioneer, something like that. BPOs, then you have a mall beside it, then you have residential condos. So it becomes some sort of a self-sustaining area that if you're working there, you can possibly live just beside it. And as you live beside it, a lot of the things that you need on a day-to-day basis are in that area anymore, so you don't get hit by traffic as much. So basically, Altus Property Ventures is a wholly owned subsidiary by Robinsons. But just to give you a backstory, they just bought into it uh, quite a few years ago, until they got a majority share, until they bought out everything and then changed the name to Altus Property Ventures. Now, that being said, that particular area, the particular business unit of it is just this. It's a very, very small unit, but it's just the north wing of Robinson's Place, Ilocos. And at the end, I'm going to show you a bit of fundamentals just to give you insight on how much the north wing of Robinson's Place, Ilocos makes money. That it's something that's very, very profitable. Imagine Robinsons, not even Ayala or SM, and in Ilocos, not even in the main cities of Metro Manila. And it's just the north wing of Robinson's Place. So you imagine how much is MOA earning, how much is Pega Mall earning, how much is SM North earning prior to the COVID pandemic. Now, please remember, everything that we're walking in right now is something that's not under under a normal economy. So, everything that worked in 2019 got shattered today. But all of this is 2019 data. What I'm going to show you later is all 2019 data. So basically, Altus Property Ventures is a wholly owned subsidiary of Robinsons Land, and it operates the north wing of Robinsons Place, Ilocos. So that's number 2. Third thing you need to know: what happened today? Why is it talked about? Why did it have a large surge? It's the first time that Altus Property Ventures got listed in the Philippine Stock Exchange. So a lot of people are saying they got listed. So are they an IPO? They're an IPO. It's their first time there. Why wasn't there any talk about it? Why didn't you feature this? Why wasn't this something that was discussed, similar to what happened to Merrimart? But basically, shares were listed in the Philippine Stock Exchange, but there are different types of listings that happen, and it's not just limited to IPOs. IPOs is the more popular one, but there's what you call also a secondary listing, there's a backdoor listing, and this is another type of listing that's not connected to the other three that I mentioned. So you can research now for secondary listing, you can research on Del Monte. For backdoor listing, you can research about Max. But this one is another type of listing. So again, all the talk about this right now is pretty much connected because of it listing its shares in the Philippine Stock Exchange today. Now let's continue. So number 4, why was it not an IPO? Again, IPO, initial public offering, where shares, either primary or secondary, get sold to the market. Primary shares meaning newly shares that are created, that once they sell it, the money will go straight to the company. Or secondary shares, these are owners selling portions of their shares. This is not an IPO because it's what you call listing by way of introduction. I'm going to talk more about that later. And for those who want to learn more about what listing by way of introduction is, put them in the comment section below. Put listing by way of introduction so that we can make a video specifically just for listing by way of introduction. If you have not heard of it, if you don't know what it is and you want to have a deep dive on it. Next, so what is it? It's basically this. It means that they are getting into the market without selling of shares. So remember what I said about IPOs. For IPOs, they had to literally sell either primary shares or secondary shares to get into the market. For this, for Altus Property Ventures, they are getting into the market without selling any shares yet. That's why it's called listing by way of introduction. They get to list without selling any shares. So, for those who read up on it a bit for today, you might be asking question number 6. So, what's the 100 million common shares that's in the market for Altus? Saan nanggaling yun? If they did not sell anything, where did that come from? How did that enter into the market if there wasn't anything that was sold? So the answer to that is basically this. Remember what I said at the start. Robinson's Land. Yes, subsidiary. So sometime last year, August 15, 2019, Robinsons gave investors property dividends. That property dividends would translate to shares in Altus. So all of the Robinson shareholders slash investors as of August 15, 2019, kumbaga for common stock dividends, they call it an X date. But for this, that was the set date, August 15, 2019. All of the stock investors of RLC at that time were entitled to property dividends for Altus. That being said, one Altus property share for every 51.9382 Robinson's Land shares. So uh that's the hatian Tagalog. That's the amount of shares that uh each person would have gotten from Altus shares, because they are Robinson's Land shareholders. But again, please do note that because Robinson's Land has a larger amount of shares, also for Altus they would get a larger amount of the pie. So that's bonus for people who own Robinson's Land shares. And as the price of Altus would go up, should it go up, I don't know how it will progress over the next months and years, but they get an extra asset uh, off of the Robinson's Land shares that they initially had. So there. So I know this sounds new to everyone or to some of you, because this is not a common method for people to come into the markets or for companies to come into the markets. But I'm gonna show you later. This has happened already in the past. So anyways, comment below if you're learning. We're now at number 7. Yung iba sa inyo, number 7 na, nangalahati na, malapit na to. This is almost done. Malapit na. Okay, so how much was the listing price? As what I showed you at the start, it was at 10.10 pesos. So if you're saying that if it's 10.10 pesos, paano nangyari yun? Sa IPO, it gets approved, the price that gets approved before they get to sell it. For Altus, it's basically this. Someone determines the price. That's what we're going to talk about in number 8. Guys, nagpapatawa na naman sa Yvonne. Stop making me laugh. Stop. Stop me. Sorry. Say sorry to everyone. This is taped as live.
Sorry, but I couldn't help it.
Okay, so the price was 10.10. Number 8, who determined the price? It got determined by Navarro Ampere and Company. They valued the company. There was a range, no? But since the price already was 10.10, 10.1, it's 1.1 billion pesos. They valued the company at 1.1 billion pesos, and you just divide it by the number of shares that's out there, 100 million common shares. It will lead you to where we are right now. So it's an independent company, audit firm that made the valuation, a fair valuation of what the company should be. What the company should be divided by the number of shares, that's the price that they listed it on, and dun nanggaling yung 10.10. Again, that's not how it is for IPOs, because you have to remember, when there's an IPO, people would have to buy it. That's why it's more stringent. For this one, they're not buying anything. Everything is just given out, and the valuations are pretty much just based on what Navarro, Ampere, and company uh, disclosed or said or analyzed. So there. Talagang na-distract ako. My wife takes pleasure every time I do videos to distract me. Because I don't know. I enjoy this also, and it takes time for me. By the way, no, we're doing this podcast type format slash webinar type format, and over the past few days, I've been getting tremendous feedback about this. That two things: you like this more. Number two, you also like the longer videos. That it's not just the fluff, it's us going into a deep dive. So for those that are watching this that you watched before na, oh, dati parang vlog style yung videos, ngayon ano na, parang webinar style, because it's what is helping more of you. So if this is something that you continually want me to do, just put it in the comment section, and yun, we're gonna do more of that. Number 9, why did it go up that much? Remember what I said, remember what we talked about a while ago, that it moved intraday from 10.10 to 240, then it started to retrace down. The answer to that was this: it was not an IPO. Even in past listing by way of introductions, I've seen stock prices go up more than 50 plus percent. So one of the reasons is for IPOs, that's where the ceiling rates would come in, but for listing by way of introduction, no ceiling. And that's why we saw it go up from 10.10 all the way up to 240, all the way up to where the closing price is. So ang laki na binaba niya sa closing. However, it's still way above the normal movement of stocks in the PSE. Number 10, has this happened in the past? As what I said, yes, it did. Here are some of the companies that went in by with listing by way of introduction. And if you look at it, and there's more pa. I just included this because para kasha, para kasha yung logo nila. And if you notice it also, this has been done by the larger conglomerates also. IMI, as you all know, Ayala Corp, Top Frontier, as you all know, SM San Miguel, Felix Mining Corporation, as you all know, under Manny Pangilinan. So, or under Felix was, then they did a dividend also, property dividend for Felix Mining. Oops, sorry, it should not be Felix Mining Corporation. It's Felix PXP, Felix Energy. So sorry about this. This is not the logo for it, but Felix Mining Corporation gave out a dividend. So for PXP, for their energy company. So yeah, please just disregard. But the dividend came out from Felix Mining to bring about PXP. So there. Anyways, this is how IMI moved. As you can see, that's how its stock progression was during the listing by way of introduction. This is how Top Frontier moved from 80. I can't even remember I don't remember what the listing price was, no. But from just showing you intraday movements, it opened at 81. The listing price could have been even lower. Opened at 81, went into an intraday move close to 106 pesos per share, then closed at 99. So it was still roughly, no, if you would try to compute it, more than 20 plus percent still the upside opening to closing if you just bought during the day. Then for PXP, Felix Petroleum, as you can see, for those who know technicals, uh, large intraday swing up, large intraday swing down to close almost the same as its opening price. Then boom, large sell down from 12 all the way down to less than 5 pesos per share. So I'm sure people will be asking, what will happen to the stock price of it for the next few weeks? Same answer as what I would always say. No one has a crystal ball. No one can guess. No one can forecast. Never, ever, ever listen to someone who will say that they can forecast the market on a consistent basis, that they can predict prices, because no one can predict what the prices are unless they're trying to manipulate it, unless it's a smaller float. And not just smaller float, but it's also mas konti yung shares na transact on a daily basis. But generally speaking, no one can predict, forecast how prices will go, because prices, as what I said in the previous days in the video, it's pretty much dictated by supply and demand. And supply and demand is predicated by news, and news triggers people's emotions. And it's hard to analyze how people's emotions are. Wife ko na nga lang, wife ko. I live for even during the lockdown, we've been together straight, non-stop, almost every breathing part of the day for more than 100 days already. But even that exposure, she's been my girlfriend 10 years ago, known her for 10 years. I can't read her mind. I can't read how she will react all the time. How much more dozens, thousands, or even millions of investors? We cannot forecast how they will think. We cannot forecast how they will react. And in the same way, we cannot predict how prices will move. That's why it's either you pick fundamentals, you buy based on the company, the valuations, the growth, or you use technicals, you buy based on the range or the trend. Are you learning? We're now in number 11. So, next, what does the price action say? What does today's price action tell us? So this is it. I did this analysis also for Mary Mart. We did it during the IPO. Couple of things. Look at the brokers. Call, Timson, Abacus, FMS, AAA, BBI, Philstock. Sellers, Abacus, Call, Papa, Timson, PP, Mandarin, SB Equity, FMS. Majority are, comment below, locals. So similar to Mary Mart, this is a local play. The movement that we're seeing here is predicated by locals. The movement that we're seeing here, as you can see, look at the right side here, you will see that uh, foreign buying was 324,000, foreign selling was 10 million. That whole transaction was very, very low. 9.9 million net foreign selling, and the foreign buying was only 324,000 pesos. I was gonna say million, but I held my breath. Oh, thousand lang. It's a very, very small amount. Then locals, 230 million buying, 220 selling. It's relatively larger. That's why you will see it in the top 10 traded for the day, because that's a large amount. That's a large push. That's something that's significant. But again, similar to Merrimart, local play. Now look at the price again. Opened up 10, listed at 10.10, hit 240 at its highest point, hit 17 as its lowest point, then eventually closed at 18.5. Similar to what I said, 83.17% is still above the 50% ceiling. So it's still above, it's still above, it's still above. So interesting days, interesting times. I hope you guys are getting this. Okay, technicals number 12. Since it's its first day, this is all we have. Remember, the strength of technical analysis is past prices plotted into charts. The strength of technical analysis is you get to build a range, you get to build a trend, and you have more past prices for you to be able to decide. Without that, it's hard. Without that, you won't be able to have holistic uh, analysis on it. That's why I like analyzing a lot of stocks that are longer in the market, because it has more past prices. As it has more past prices, it allows me to analyze it more quickly. But there's one point of analysis though. You can still analyze the candlestick. And just to make it as simple as possible, this is not a bullish candlestick. The fact that it went high, then it went lower, it means that people were not willing to buy it at a much higher price anymore. That's one. Number two, the fact that it closed lower than its opening denotes that it's not as bullish as what we want it to be. But again, rest assured, over the next few days, as this continues to progress, we're gonna make another video off of it. All right. So number 13, what does the fundamentals say? And this is where I wanted to ask you guys if you want me to make a part two on this, because this is their financial statements, and I just want to focus on one thing. Their net income is 64 million for just the northern part of Robinson's land, for Robinson's Mall in Ilocos. Again, I repeat, Robinson's Mall in Ilocos, not even the whole mall, just the northern part. Rental revenues, 133 million. Net income, 64 million. I repeat, Ilocos, Robinson's Land, just the northern part of the mall, rental revenues 133 million, net income 64 million. So they're making money. Now, if you guys want me to go into a deep dive more, debt equity ratio, current ratio, liquidity ratio, EPS, PE ratio, etc., put them in the comment section. I want more of this, or put I want Altus, and then we'll try to make another video on that. But I hope you guys are learning. That's number 14. This is a recap. So basically, what makes this different? It's not an IPO. What made it go pushing above to 240 pesos, because there was no ceiling for today. That's why it boom pushed up, went higher than the listing price. Even the opening price went massively higher also. That's why it pushed up. Uh, there will be a selling of shares, but not now. It will be at a later date into the future. And again, the reason why the price was set at 10.10, it was based on an auditor who did it. And those who got shares from this were Robinson's Land shareholders from August 2019. So I hope you guys stayed up until this part. This is again number 14. I always enjoy it when people say they stayed up until the end. That means that what I do also is giving value to all of you. So if you stayed up until this part, comment I stayed up until the end, and I'd super appreciate it also that this is adding value to you. And if you have not subscribed yet, appreciate it if you could like, subscribe, and share this to more and more people. And for those who want to learn more about the stock market, books are in the description below. I've written 5 books in the stock market. They're all available in National Bookstore and in Shopee. Pero sa National, I don't know how it is right now based on all of the lockdowns that's going on. But 5 books: stock market basics. I have stock investing made easy. Then I have technical and fundamental analysis. They're spread across winning strategies for investing, breaking the resistance, and stress-free investing. Then I have a book on investments called Where Should You Invest. Then another announcement for online courses: two, one is with Chinkitan, Stock Market for Everyone, Tagalog stock market course. Then another one is Make Money Grow Money. It's entrepreneurship and investing in the stock market with Sean Si. They're all in the description below. People are asking, do I trade via VPN? I'm using Nord. It's also down in the description below. Do I have virus scans? Yes. McAfee, link is in the description. And for those asking, the gears that I have, they're all in the description below. And yun, I hope that you guys got a lot from this. I hope this is something that is helping you. I hope this is something that is giving you as much information as possible, because again, I'll never stop doing this. I love what I do. I love trading, but above and beyond trading, I love sharing my ideas to people. I love being part of the solution, helping people, bringing people closer to financial freedom. And I appreciate the people taking the time to learn, because what we're talking about here, it's it still pushes you na kailangan nyo pa rin mag-research eh. But I'll say this over and over: if investing in the market was so easy, then everyone would be billionaires. It's not as hard as what everyone else thinks it is. However, it's also not as easy na you would think na konting node lang ng YouTube, it will make me a billionaire. It doesn't work that way. It works by rolling up your sleeve, hustling, doing as much as you can to build up that skill, build up that portfolio, build up the money, and make it grow from there. And the reason why I'm sharing this is because a lot of people think that I just have to listen and okay na yun. It doesn't work that way. You build it, you learn it, and you curl up that conviction. And as you start building it and learning, and let your experience grow over a period of time, that's where money is. So if you're not making money in the first 3 months, in the first 6 months, on the first year, please remember, you don't become an expert overnight. If kunyari, you're an engineer, you've been working for 18 years already, guess what? Your skill as an engineer in year 18 is different from your skill in year 1, because you don't get rich overnight. You also don't build skills overnight. You build it over time. You build it with patience. You build it with discipline. You build it by doing things that everyone else is not doing. So there, thank you so much guys for joining. And if you guys have any other topics that you guys want me to talk about this weekend, I'm actually thinking about since the BSP dropped interest rates to 2.25. If that's something that's interesting to all of you, I'm gonna make one over the weekend. But I'm gonna make another US market video for most likely Monday. Then I'm making another video where I'm interviewing a fund manager for FAMI this Sunday. So check you guys can check that all out. It's coming and dropping very soon. And that's it. I'm enjoying. I finally have my YouTube silver play button. I figured out how to tape and film it na it's part of the video. If you like this backdrop, I'm trying to change my backdrops pa iba-iba and trying to film in different places so that it's not it doesn't look the same all the time. But yeah, If you like this, also comment below. But thank you so much, guys, for watching, and I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon, and God bless you all.